Good morning to all of you. Let me welcome you all for this English class, and in this video we are going to learn about modal verbs. Okay, you know very well the verbs can be divided into two. One is auxiliaries and another one is modal auxiliaries. Okay, so this video exclusively for modal auxiliaries. So in this video we are going to learn about 13 modal auxiliaries which is mentioned in your book. Okay, so look at the slide. So with the help of the slide you could understand what are the 13 modals you are going to learn in this video. First of all, we have to know about the functions of the modal verbs. Okay, so each and every modal verbs, it has its own function. It plays its own function in the written communication as well as oral communication. So first of all, we have to analyze the mood of the sentence. Okay, so what is the role of the modal verbs in the particular sentence? So now let me list out the functions of the modal verbs. The first one is, so modal verbs can be used to express ability and disability of a person or something. So next situation is about advice. Okay, so when we give advice to someone we have to use modal verbs. And third situation, so when we ask permission or give permission, we have to use modals. And fourth point, the fourth point is about certainty. So the word certainty, which means surety. Okay, so when a possibility of an action is 100%, that is nothing but certainty. Okay, so next point is about conditionals. So you know very well your first chapter is conditional class only. So in the conditional class you have you have learnt about how to use modals in the if class. Okay, conditional class. So the next point is about conditionals. So let me remind you very quickly. So modals can be used for ability and disability and advice, ask permission and give permission, and certainty, and next one is conditionals. Okay, so now let me move to the next one. Let's know about another set of functions. Okay, so now let me begin. So one more function of modals are expectation. Okay, so when we express our expectation to someone, so we have to use modals. The next thing you know very well, so when we make request, okay, so in order to request something to someone we have to use modals. And the third one, okay, offers. If you want to offer someone, okay, something to someone, you can use the modals. Okay, next is situation for obligations. The word obligations refers to duties and responsibilities of a person. The next function is promise. So promise means you promise to someone. Okay, you promise to, when you promise something to someone you have to use modal verbs. Next one, prediction. So if you predict about the future, predicts means foretell. So like a weather. Okay, so when you predict about the future, so you have to use modals. So next one about the possibility. Possibility means a chance of something to occur. Okay, some chance. If the chance is there, okay, at that time you have to use the modal verbs. Next one, probability. So there is a slight difference from possibility and the probability. Okay, so possibility you know very well, any chance can be possible, but in probability only limited chance are there. So one among the chance will be happen in probability. Okay, like what is that? So for example, you have 50 books in your home library. Okay, so you have a small library in your home. So in that you have kept 50 books. If you want to read any books, you can take any one book from the 50. Yes. So only the availability is 50 only. So this the selection of the book is from only 50. You cannot go beyond that. So this situation is known as the probability. Let me remind you very quickly. So modals can be used for expectation, make request, offers, obligation, promise, prediction, possibility, and probability. So discuss still 3 more situations. Okay. So one is suggestion, necessity and strong recommendation. So when we suggest something to someone and when there is a necessity of something, and another one when we give or when we recommend something in a strong manner, strong recommendation. Okay, so in these situations also we can use modals. So far we have learned about the functions of the modals. Okay, so now let's discuss one by one. First modal we are going to learn is can. Okay, the verb can. Now let's begin the first modal. So one of the most commonly used modal in English, can, is used to express ability and disability, to request or offer permission, and to show possibility or impossibility. So let me explain you. So one of the most commonly used modal verb is can. Okay, so that modal can is used to express some situations. So first one is about the ability or disability of a person, and second one to request or offer permission. Okay, so a person can request to someone, a person may offer permission to someone. Okay, in this situation, but especially the second point, to request or offer permission exclusively for an informal situation. Okay, so informal situation, which means a conversation between friends. Okay, a conversation between two friends, or a conversation among family members, or a conversation among your peers. Peers means same group of people, same age group of people. So but only one condition we have to remember, the modal can is not used for formal situation like a conversation between teacher and students. Okay, so between teacher and principal. So the can is only for the informal situation. It is not used for the formal situation. And one more thing, so the modal can is not used to ask polite request or a polite way of giving permission. Okay, so it cannot be used for polite or it cannot be used for formal situation. It is exclusively used for informal situations. So now let's move to the next point, to show possibility in a general manner. Remember the word general. So possibility in a general manner or impossibility. Okay, either possibility or impossibility about an action. So this is about the can. So these are all the functions of the can. Now let's apply the thing what we have learned with some example sentences. Okay, so look at the first example sentence. I can eat by myself, the boy said. Okay, the boy said I can eat by myself. So look at the modal. The modal can here used for the function to tell about the ability of the boy. So what is the purpose of the can here? The ability of the boy. So look at the second example. She can speak French. So now look at the second example. She can speak French. So in this sentence also, the modal can is used to talk about the ability of the girl. Okay, the ability, the capacity. Okay, she can speak French. She can speak French. So now let me move to the third example. He can write and paint with both hands. So this is also an ability of the person. Okay, he can write as well as paint with both hands. Okay, about the ability of the person. What we have to remember in our minds, so whenever we talk about the ability or the disability of the person, we have to use the modal can. Okay, so now let's move to the next set of examples. So look at this. So these three examples are for informal request. So as I told you already, the informal request between friends or family members, okay, or the same group of people. So look at that. So can I have one more piece of cake? It's an informal request, maybe in home or between your friends. Okay, so look at that. Can I borrow your pen? So this is also a conversation between friends. Okay, look at that. Can I have a cup of coffee? You may ask your mother. You may ask your mother. It's a request only, but it is not a highly formal request. So an informal situation in a home. Okay, home is the It's not a formal situation. Office is the formal situation. Home is the informal situation. So you ask your mother to give a coffee. So at the time you can ask, can I have a cup of coffee? So now let's move to the informal permission situations. So the situation is about informal permissions. Okay, look at that. You can leave now. The example sentence is you can leave now. So this is not the conversation between in a formal situation. So this is about you and your family member and you and your friends, okay, or you and your peers. So somebody, you ask the permission, for that they gave you the permission. Okay, you can leave now. Next one. So you can use my pillow if you want. Maybe your sister or your brother or even your friend. Okay, or your mother or a family members, whoever. So you can use my pillow if you want. So they give permission to you to use their pillow. Let's move to the next example for possibility. So look at the sentence. You can learn Japanese at that school. Okay. For example, in one particular school, they teach the students Japanese. If you go to the school, definitely you can learn Japanese. So this is the situation. Definitely, surely. Okay. So the possibility level is very, very high. So there is no doubt about the situation. There is no doubt. So at the time you can use the word can. For example, you can learn Japanese at that school, because that school, it provides the language Japanese to the children. Okay, the learning of the language Japanese to the students. Let me move to the next example for impossibility. So the possibility we have learnt. So now let me explain you about the impossibility. Look at the given example. We cannot attend online classes without a smartphone or a computer. So without a smartphone or a computer, it is not possible. It is impossible to attend online classes. So this is an example for impossibility. This is the time to recap what we have learnt. The modal can is used for ability and disability, to request and offer permission, and to show possibility and impossibility in a general manner. So now let's move to the next model. So now we are going to learn about the second modal verb, could. Okay, so like a can, could also has some basic functions. First of all, let us know about the functions of the modal could. Okay, so the modal could is used to express possibility. The first function is possibility. But look at the bracket. The possibility is weaker than may and might. So now let me tell you, there are 5 modals can be used for possibilities. First one, will. So will, can, may, might and could. So let me explain you the percentage of the possibility also. If the word will means the possibility is 100%. If you use modal can means the situation is between 90 to 100. And may means most probably 75%. So now might means 50%. But the word could means 25% of possibility. So that's why I have used the word here, weaker possibility. So now let's move to the next function of the modal could. Okay, so you know very well already the modal can is used for the ability of the person. So here you know very well the past tense of the word can is could. So here the function is in order to mention the past ability of the person. So let me move to the third one. In order to make suggestions, we can use modal could. So next one, request and permission. Okay, ask, request, okay, give permission. So in this situation, the question whether the request or a permission should be very, very polite. But compare with the can. So can is an informal request or a permission. But this is very polite. It is very polite request and a polite permission. So these are all the functions of could. Look at the given example. The given example is he could be the chairman of the board, but the possibility is very less. Okay, as I told you already, 25% of the possibility is there. The person, he could be the chairman of the board. Okay, like the same thing, I think we could have one more retest, but the possibility is very less. Okay, the possibility is very less to conduct a retest, one more retest. I think we could have one more retest. So the conclusion is, so could is used for weak possibilities. Let's move to the next function of the modal could. So could is used for suggestions. So look at that. The given example is, you could spend the rest of holidays here. So this is maybe a conversation between relatives. Okay, relatives. So at that time they may say this. Okay, you could spend the rest of holidays here. So the function is suggestion. So now let me move to the next example. The next example is about past ability. So look at the given example sentence. I could run many miles when I was younger. So when a person was younger, so I refers to here somebody. Okay, so when the person, he was younger, he could run. Okay, he could run many miles, but now maybe or may not be. Okay, but it was the past ability of the person. Let's move to the another functions of the modal could. Okay, the modal could is used to ask polite permission. So look at the question, could I borrow your dictionary please? So the person who asked in a very polite manner, okay, could I use or could I borrow your dictionary please? I told you already, the word could can be used for polite permission. So the next sentence is an example for how the modal could is used for polite request. The example is, could you say again more slowly? So this is not like the question, can you say again more slowly? That is the informal situation. Okay, the question, can you say more slowly, is for informal situation. So could you say more slowly? It's a very polite. Okay, it's a kind of polite request. Time to recap the functions of the modal could. Okay, so the modal could is used for weak possibility and past ability and to make suggestions, polite request and polite permissions. So now let me move to the next model. Now let's move to the next model. So the next model is may. So now let us learn the major functions of the modal may. So look at the given slide. So may is most commonly used to express possibility, but this is not a weak possibility, this is strong possibility. Okay, and one more thing, so request for permission. Okay, here the request is very formal. So request for permission is very formal. Third function is give permission, and give permission also in a formal way. So it's quite opposite for the modal can. Okay, so can is used for informal situation, whereas may is used for formal situation. So possibility, strong possibility, request for permission in a formal manner, and even giving permission also in a formal manner. So this is the major functions of may. Now let me move to the examples. The first example is, they may have left for the party already. So look at the word, they may have left. So may, look at the modal may. So the modal may here shows the strong possibility. It is not a weak possibility. Okay, as I told you already, 90%, 90 to 100% of the possibility expressed by the modal may. So look at the next one. It is starting to get cloudy. It may rain soon. So look at the weather. The weather is so cloudy. The weather is so cloudy. The possibility of the rain is very strong. So that's why the example is, it is starting to get cloudy. It may rain soon. Now let's move to the next function of the modal may. You know very well, requesting permission. So when we when we ask the permission in a request manner, we have to use may. So look at the example, may I come in? The child asked. So this is a very request permission. So now let me move to the next example. So now let us move to the next example. Look at the example. May I sit down, sir? So this situation is a request permission. At the same time, this is a formal situation. So for the question, may I sit down, sir? The person who replies, yes, you may sit down. So here the function is give permission. The situation is highly formal. Have a quick look about the usage of may, you know very well. So modal may is used for possibility, especially strong possibility, and the request for permission, especially formal situation, and the give permission also for the formal situation. So now let me move to the next modal. Going to learn the next modal. Okay, the fourth modal is might. So first let's learn the functions of the modal might. Okay, look at that. So might is most commonly used to express possibility, but the condition is it is weaker than may. So you know very well the possibility of the modal may is 75%. Okay, so now the modal might for 50% of the possibility. Now the next function of the might is used often in the conditional sentences. Okay, in conditional class might is often used. And one more thing, so it is used to make suggestions or request. So especially, so might is used to make suggestions or request. So now let me explain you with some examples. So now look at the given examples. So these are the examples for possibility, conditional and suggestion. Okay, the possibility is not 100%, only 50% of the possibility can be expressed by might. Okay, and especially conditional. Okay, second type, imaginary condition. So at that time you can use the word might. And third one, when you suggest to someone, you can use the word might. So look at that. She might have finished cooking. The possibility of the cooking was, the finishing of the cooking was only 50%. Okay, she might have finished cooking. So look at the imaginary condition. If I did not have to work, I might have gone with you. But what happened? I had some work, I couldn't come with you. That is the meaning. Okay, so that is the imaginary situation. If I did not have, it's a second conditional. Okay, already you have learned the conditional in your first chapter itself. Look at the last example here. You might go to the park. It is so close to where you are. So you are suggesting a person about the park which is very near to your place where you are. So you might go to the park. It is close to where you are. So keep it in your mind. In order to suggest someone, you can use the modal might. So now let us move to the next example. So here I have given two more examples for the possibility weaker than may, as I told you already. So the word might is used for 50% of the possibility. Look at that. It is not very cloudy yet. Okay, the weather is not too cloudy, but it might rain sometimes. Okay, sometimes even the weather was not very cloudy, but accidentally or unexpectedly we could get some rain. Okay, so look at that. It is not very cloudy yet, but it might rain. The 50% of the possibility. If the possibility is so high, we can use the word it may rain, but here the word is it might rain, which means 50% only. Look at the next one. So they might give us a 25% discount. So this is also not 100%. So only 50-50. Okay, so whether they can give. Okay, so whether the discount may be given or not. So here the possibility is only 50%. So that's why I have used the word they might give as 20% discount. Okay, have a quick look about the usage and the functions of might. Okay, so might is used to express possibility, especially weaker than may. Okay, and the next one, it is often used in conditional sentences, and a third function is in suggestions or in request. Suggestions or in request. So now let's move to the fifth model. Now we are going to learn about the fifth model is must. So look at the functions of the modal must. So must is most commonly used to express certainty, as I told you already, something which is in a sure, okay, 100% certainty. And the next one, some necessity, okay, some necessity and a strong recommendation. So look at the phrase strong recommendation and prohibition. Prohibition means completely prohibited, okay, 100% prohibited. So 100% it is not allowed. Okay, the next one is strong logical conclusions. There is some logical conclusion. So these are all 5 major functions of the modal must. So now let me explain you the modal must with it's a function. Okay, you know very well the first function is certainty, second one is necessity, and third one is strong recommendation, and fourth one is prohibition. So keep it in mind and these functions. Okay, so let me explain you the first example. So this must be the right address. So there is no doubt about it. The address is correct one. Okay, at the time you can use the word this must be the right address. Okay, let me move to the next function, necessity. You know very well students must be in their school uniform. That is must. That is necessity. Okay, let me move to the next function, strong recommendation. If you want to recommend something to someone in a strong manner, because here the person is suffering from some fever or some physical problem. So what we supposed to do? So he must take some medicine. Okay, so this is the strong recommendation. You must take some medicine. So let me move to the next one, prohibition. You know very well prohibition means 100% is not allowed. So here students, you must not shout like that. Okay, so unnecessarily the shouting of the student is not allowed in the school. Okay, shouting of the student in the classroom is prohibited. So students, you must not shout like that. Okay, so these are all the functions of the modal must. So still we are going to see 2 more examples for the modal must. Okay, one is for the logical conclusion, another one for the necessity of a different situation. Okay, look at that. So he must, he left an hour ago. So he must be there already. He must be there already. So based on some logical conclusion, based on the logic, already she left. Okay, already she left an hour ago. So 1 hour before itself she left from the place. So what is the logic? The logic is she or he must be there already. So logical conclusion. Next one, necessity. Okay, look at that. Today is the last day to submit your project. So what are you supposed to do? What is the must? You must complete and submit it. So this is the necessity. So for the logical conclusion as well as for the necessities, as I told you, must can be used. Okay. So now let's move to the another model. So now let me move to the 6th model. The 6th model verb is will. Okay. Let's learn the functions of the modal will. Okay. The first function of the modal is promises. Okay. Second one is voluntary actions that takes place in the future. Okay. So the meaning is if you promise to someone to do something, okay, in future, at the time you can use the word will. And another one about your voluntary action, you are willing to do something, okay, in future. So at the time you can use the modal will. Next one, as you know very well, so it can be used to make prediction about the future. What is going to happen in the future? So the prediction, foretelling. Okay, so in order to foretell the event or the sequence what is going to happen in the future, you can use the modal will. Okay, and the next one, some instant decision. Okay, something happening at present. Okay, as a result of that you are going to do something in the immediate future. So instant decision. So these are all the 3 more functions. Let me remind you once again. For a promises or the voluntary actions that take place in the future. Second one, so will can be used to make prediction about the future, and third function is in order to express your instant decision. So these are all the major 3 functions of the modal will. So now let me move to the examples. So now look at the given examples. So the first two examples are for promise, the third one is for voluntary action, and fourth one is for prediction, and fifth one is for the instant decision. So look at the first one. I will meet you every evening. So as a person who promises to someone, okay, he will meet somebody without fail every evening. It's a kind of promise. So I will meet you every evening. So let me move to the next one. Okay, I will buy you a latest mobile for your birthday. Okay, without fail, 100% surely I will buy you a mobile phone on your birthday. This is a kind of promise. So let me move to the third example. I will go to the market tomorrow. So this function is voluntary action. Here no one is compelled you to do the action. Okay, you itself decided to go to the market tomorrow. It's a voluntary action. I will go to the market tomorrow. Next one, prediction. So what is going to happen? You could able to tell. Okay, pre-tell. So look at the example. Look at the sky. So the sky is very cloudy. It is too cloudy to rain. Okay, at the time you can say, look at the sky, it will rain. So it will rain in the sense 100%. So 100% the rain will come. So that is about the prediction. So now let me move to the instant decision. Look at that. I cannot see any taxi. So you are waiting for buses or taxis. Okay, so what is that? You cannot see. You can't see even a single taxi or a bus at that time. So what do? So look at the example. I cannot see any taxi, so I will walk. So instant decision. So these are all examples for the modal will. Okay. So let me move to the next. Now let's move to the seventh modal verb, would. Okay, so let us know first the functions of the modal would and with the examples. First let's learn the functions of the modal would. So look at that first. So would is most commonly used to create conditional verb forms. Okay, in if class, okay, in conditional class would also used. Okay, the next one, it also serves as the past form of the modal verb will. You know very well the past tense of the verb will is would. Okay, so that is the second usage of would. So third one, it can also indicate repetition in the past. Okay, some habits or routine was happen in the past. So in order to mention or indicate some repetition of action in the past, you can use would. Okay, the last one, polite request. So just remember this last point. So would is used to ask polite request. Okay, so let me remind you again. For conditional verb forms and the past tense of will, and third one, a repetition in the past, and fourth one, polite request. Look at the example. The first example is for conditional, the second example for past tense of will, and third one is for the repetition in past habit, and the fourth and fifth are examples of polite request. So look at the conditional sentence, if I were older, which means imaginary condition. Okay, you are not enough older. You are not enough older to apply for this job. Okay, at that time you could say, if I were older, I would apply for this job. Okay, imaginary condition. Keep it in your mind. This is an imaginary condition. So look at the next one, past tense of will. Okay, we knew she would do well. So what is the present tense of the sentences? We know she will do well. So in the past tense, we knew she would do well. Okay, next one, repetition in the past habit. So they would go to the park on Sundays. This is also some habits, some repetition of an action, okay, frequently happened in past. Okay, not now. So we are talking about the past. They would go to the park on Sundays. Okay, repetition in past habit. So let me move to the fourth and fifth example. As I told you already, for polite request, would you mind if I sit down? Would you mind if I sit down? And one more question, would you please help them? Would you please help them? Look at the word. So would is used to ask very polite request. Okay. Now let's move to the 8th model, that is shall. Okay, so now let's learn the functions of the modal verb shall. So now let me explain you what are the functions of the modal shall. Okay, so here you know very well shall and will both we can use to mention or indicate future action. Sometimes shall is used as interchangeable word for will. Okay, sometimes shall can be replaced the word will. The next function is offer. Okay, offer, and third is suggestion. So when you want to offer something you can use shall. When you want to suggest something you can use shall. And the last one, if you want to ask what you want to do next. Okay, what to do, what I want to do. So at the time you can use the word shall. So now let me explain you with some examples. So look at the example, the same example what we have used for will. Okay, the first point is shall can be used interchangeably with the modal will. So look at that. I shall meet you every evening. It's a promise. I shall go to the market tomorrow. Voluntary action. Okay, it shall rain tomorrow. It's a prediction. The same set of sentences, but the modal shall is used interchangeably with will. Okay, this is a one set of examples. So let me move to the next set of examples. So look at the remaining function of the modal shall. Look at that. Offer, suggestion, and what to do. So look at the first example. Shall I help you with your baggage? So you are going to offer. Okay, you are going to do some offer to someone. At the time you ask, shall I help you? Shall I help you with your baggage? Look at the second one, suggestion. Shall we organize some games on Children's Day? Okay, you are giving a suggestion. Okay, you are talking about the what is that? One of the suggestion of your Children's Day games. Shall we organize some games on Children's Day? And next one, what to do? Shall I finish the pending work or will you? What is the question? Shall I finish the pending work or will you? So what to do? So these are all the major three functions of the modal shall. Okay, especially we frequently used for offer and suggestions. Okay. So now we are going to learn, so the 9th modal verb should. Okay, so first let's learn the functions of the modal should. So let's learn the function first. The first one is should is commonly used to make recommendation and give advice. Okay, so it's not a strong recommendation, a normal recommendation. Okay, and give advice. So next one, it can also be expressed the obligation as well as expectation. And the last function is saying what is right. Okay, let me explain you once again. So in order to recommend or in order to give advice, we can use should. And the next one, so should can be used to express obligation as well as expectation. And last one, saying what is right, what is correct. Okay, whether morally, whether legally, whether practically, what is correct, what is right. Okay, so for this situation we can use the modal should. So now look at the example. The first example is for recommendation, second one is for advice, third one is for obligation, and fourth one is for expectation. Okay, so look at the first one. Somebody recommend you, okay, because the museum is very good. Okay, it is very important museum. Okay, you could get some knowledge from there. So at that time, what is the conversation? Look at that. You should visit the museum there. So it's a kind of recommendation. Next one, advice. You know very well, most of the people, they give advice to you. Okay, you should focus more on your studies. This is a kind of advice. Next one, obligation. Okay, you itself, that is your duty. Obligation means duty and responsibility. So this is the dialogue. Okay, says by yourselves. Okay, actually the dialogue which is said by yourself. Look at that. I should finish my homework. So that is your duty. Okay, you are telling to yourself. So it's a kind of obligation. Next one, expectation. We should have reached by now. So which means actually you have to reach the place already, but still you didn't reach the place. But your expectation is you should have reached by now. So these are all some of the examples for the verb, modal verb should. Okay, so now